Well, firstly, great to be chatting to you all the way from Belgrade, Rod. It's a pleasure and a privilege. This is obviously the new project Swing Fever. It sees you teaming up with Jules Holland. You knew of each other obviously before, but what inspired the collaboration?
Well, I was trying to record this swing album in Los Angeles with session musicians. And sometimes session musicians sound like session musicians. So I had to look elsewhere. I needed something with a bit of a tough edge, rock and roll edge. So I went to Jules, who's got all those edges. So
simple as this is the rock and roll of your day. So it seems like a great mix. Do you love that your fans are so excited to see you constantly make a new leap into new territory in your career?
Well, I hope so. And they appear to have taken this one on board. It was number one here in the Great Britain. It's doing very well all over Europe and pretty well in America. So we did it as a labor of love. We didn't really have 100% belief in it because, it's not the sort of thing you hear on the radio nowadays. But it's worked out fine.
Now, you mentioned, I remember when I was watching an interview a few years back in Australia, that you love the 70s. I believe you were talking to Molly Meldon. You said, I love the 70s. Look, I hope it's going to continue into the 80s. And it did. And it's continued on into a new millennium. Could you have believed then where you'd be now?
No. When I came into this business, I thought, well, if it lasts a year or 6 months, I'll save up some money. But here I am, all those years later.
And do you find that maybe the key to the success, you made a really good comment in an interview I saw where you said you're constantly trying to make music for yourself and for the people you work with. And in doing so, you hope that it'll end up pleasing everyone else. And that just tends to be a byproduct. Yeah,
you've really got to be true to yourself. There's no point in trying to copy somebody else and jump on their bandwagon. It's especially with this swing album, it's something that Jules and I have loved that music since we were children. I mean, we grew up in that that late 40s period. So it was an honor to sing these songs, and they are beautifully crafted songs.
The story of her life reads like an action, adventure, romance, some cancer survivor, model train enthusiast, recipient of a knighthood, two-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, over 250 million records sold. I think you're the only person who could probably give Tony Stark of Marvel's Avengers an inferiority complex. Could 17-year-old Rod Stewart have ever dreamed that he'd be almost 80-year-old musical superstar Sir Rod?
No. It's when I came into the business, in the 60s, along with David Bowie and Elton John and the Stones and the Animals, I believe, and I think I can speak for everybody, we came into the business because we loved the music. We didn't necessarily want to become famous or rich. It's because we wanted to just express ourselves. We had that burning desire to make music. So I'm absolutely gobsmacked that it's gone on this long and still selling out shows and getting #1 albums.
Well, I know for a fact that I've got friends coming from Australia to Belgrade just to see you in concert. So,
oh, bless them.
So it's going to be very exciting. I mentioned that your story is worthy of Marvel's Avengers, Tony Stark style. Who else, these musical superstars, if you had to form a little bit of your own Avengers lineup, is there someone that you would put, if you could form a super crew?
Oh, I would probably, if I had to form a band, I would have maybe Eric Clapton on guitar, Ronnie Wood on the other guitar, Kenny Jones, the Faces drummer, on drums. I don't know. I've never thought about it because it won't happen. But
now, there's one thing that I want to know. There's two questions I wanted to ask to see just if they're true. You mentioned when you travel. I mentioned your affinity for model trains. Is it true that when you come to Serbia, you will have a separate hotel room just for your projects?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm off to Singapore tomorrow. And I've actually seen the room they're going to put my work. It's a workshop. It's a traveling workshop. I bring everything, paints and everything. I have a project. Yeah, I'll show. When I get there, I'll show you. Please come and have a look at my hotel room.
I can't wait. The other question is, we look at the magic that you've produced in the studio. What I want to know is it true that you used to decide your favorite studios based on how close they were to the pub?
Yes. You'll be surprised. I mean, I'm going to say one song, a song called Forever Young, that we were in the studio in Los Angeles a place called the Record Plant. And there was a lovely little pub restaurant next door. And when we went next door, we said, "Oh, what are we going to do?" And I started whistling. Someone else did, and it was formed in the pub. We said, "Right, drinks down, back in the pub. Let's go and record it."
Now, do you ever look back at everything you've done and just think of something, there's a moment that stands out as a particularly special source of joy?
It's been one long stream of joy, but I think maybe when I got my first #1 album and #1 single in 1971, that first time is the biggest. It doesn't become jaded over the years. It's still great to have a #1, but that first one, If Your Picture Tells a Story, and Maggie May, which was #1 in Great Britain and the US at the same time, was pretty memorable.
When friends and colleagues heard I was speaking to you, I was sort of flooded with requests for not even just questions, comments. My mum said, "Can you please tell Rod that my favourite song is Maggie May?" I said, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
Well, I'm making this a lot, Mum.
Maggie has a bit of a sordid background, but it's a true story.
I did hear about that, about an older flame.
Yeah. No, she was a total stranger, but she took my virginity when I was about 16 or 15, I think.
It's one of those things, once you take it, you can't give that back.
I've never looked at it like that. Brilliant.
So, okay, now I've got a couple of ideas. You mentioned that you're coming to Serbia. I've got an idea. We want to see you perform many more concerts. I have a proposition. We've seen what you did with the Great American Songbook. Here's an idea for the next tour, the Great Serbian Songbook. If you need help putting it together, I'll try and accomplish something.
I don't quite know what to say about that. You send me the songs, I'll sing them.
I'll have a backup of the Great Australian Songbook as well. So maybe it'll be like the
Australian Songbook, yeah. I do Waltzing Matilda, you know that.
Well, I'm excited to see it. Now, I've got only a couple of questions. We've got just a bit of time left. Now, there's a current big debate. I know you're a massive football fan. Now, there's a current debate going around between who's the greatest stopper of all time. Knowing that you're a massive... No, the defender. So you are Celtic through and through. Virgil van Dijk played at Celtic. They're talking about, is it him or Nemanja Vidic who played at Red Star Belgrade? I need you to help me decide this one. Do you have one that you could decide?
No, they're both giant footballers. I mean, I wouldn't choose between either of them. They're both tremendous footballers. I know one of them played for Celtic, but no, they're both great players. I wouldn't make that choice. And if I did, one of them might come and hit me on the head.
I think that the only fair thing to do now, seeing as you answered so diplomatically, is that I need to get you a Red Star Belgrade kit, but I need to decide whether I need to call it Rod Star or whether I need to put your name on the back or Vidic. So just so I know for when you come to Belgrade.
Yeah, my name, please. I'd love to have a Red Star jersey, large.
I'll sort that for you, large, and I'll have it in Stjuart, and it'll be in Cyrillic if you like. So just
and number 10 on the back.
Number 10 on the back, Stjuart. I'll have that sorted.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, the only other thing I have a question, is it true that the day before your concert, you actually would sometimes wear a sign around your neck where you would actually say you can't speak, you're resting your voice?
Yeah. It's voice rest is very important to vocalists. It's the voice is just like muscles in your legs. They have to be rested. If you run a marathon, you don't want to run the marathon the next day. You want to just rest. So the voice is the same. So if I go 10, 12 hours without talking, the voice will repair itself and be ready for the next show. This of mine is like crown jewels, mate. You really have to look after it.
Well, it's worth as much of the crown jewels, and I'm supportive of that. So what I've done is I've put together a sign for you to have where you can.
What does that say?
No, it just says.
Oh, that is so funny.
I'm resting. I'm saving my voice. Thank you for your... Now, here's the thing. It says, thank you for your understanding, but I understand you're coming to Serbia. So what I'm doing is I'm also putting it in Cyrillic, which in Serbian, they're in Cyrillic so they can understand. But I understand that you're partial to the occasional, swear word. So I think sometimes when the language doesn't communicate enough, just add that little bit of...
Oh, that is so good. Will you give that to me when we get there? I can't wait to go around your local pub with that round my neck.
I will. It's look, it's been such an absolute pleasure. Now we know you're coming to Belgrade, 17th of May. Can't wait. You did a fantastic chat with fellow Aussie Charles Woolley, where you mentioned you couldn't see yourself doing this into your 80s. I sincerely hope that's changed. But what's next after Swing Fever and after this tour for Rod Stewart?
Well, I'm booked up it's up to me. I'm booked. I've got offers on Las Vegas again, going into next year, and 20 odd. I've got everybody I'm doing great. I'm not going to slow up. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not retiring. That's for sure. Never retire.
Thank you so much for the chat. I heard someone quote something a while ago, and it's the best way I could describe it is, it's been surreal, but so real. I'm looking forward to Belgrade, becoming Belgrade. And at the risk of sounding cheesy, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum. Thank you so much. I think that 9-year-old Stefan Popovic watching Hey Hey It's Saturday in Australia and seeing you chat to Molly and do a range of interviews would be very, very chuffed right now with this. So
thanks, Molly.
Thank you very much. And can we get a hello for Serbia and RTS?
My friends in Serbia, I can't wait to be there. We're going to have fun and laughter and joy and a little drink or two, maybe.
I think we can arrange that. Even if there's not a studio nearby, there are pubs everywhere in Kafana. So I'll make sure that I arrange the Red Star top for you. Thank you very much for setting aside some of your time.
See you on the day.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.